It's been a while since I've updated and uploaded some new content to my channel. I'm going to get to the reason why towards the end of this video. I wanted to answer some of your money and life questions that you asked. It's been so long. I am so happy to be back in front of the camera and just filming regularly scheduled content. It just feels like it's been forever. So grab a coffee, grab something cozy, and pull up for this money and coffee chat. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the questions that you asked on Instagram. The first one is, what is a good high yield savings account rate? Well, currently anything over 4% interest is really, really good. I have been, as you might know, I've been banking with Ally. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and pull up what Ally's current high yield savings account interest rate is. Anything over 4% is like amazing. So Ally currently is offering 4.25% on their high yield savings account. They also have a money market account. Usually money market accounts require a higher minimum deposit and then an account balance in order for you to like park your money there and get the higher interest rate. Their money market account right now is 4.4%. That's amazing. And also, there's no minimum balance requirements. Now, this is kind of nice for this time right now. It won't always be that percentage rate, just like the high yield savings account won't always be the 4.25%. It really fluctuates based off of what the Federal Reserve marks as the current rate. And as you know, or may have heard in the news, those rates set by the Fed have just been going up and up to really combat and lower the inflation that we've all been experiencing. And lately in the news, the last that I saw from the previous month, there is no immediate rush to lower those rates. In fact, they're gonna either hold steady or most likely increase the rate again. So if that's the case, you're probably going to see that savings interest rate hold steady as well. Okay, next question. Has LA grown on you, or do you still not like it that much? It's definitely grown on us, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because it's so expensive, and as much as I would like to make it work here, I don't see how we can afford a mortgage and daycare. And if I'm being honest with you, if we're talking about having a second baby, which is definitely something that Kyle and I talk about a lot, one thing, the biggest thing that prevents me from even moving forward with that is the cost. I could make it work, while I'm pregnant, and then when it comes to maternity leave, like, okay, maybe I could get by and just live off of the maternity savings that I build for myself. But after that, I'm going to need childcare because I'm gonna need to go back to work and continue making an income. So I just don't know if that's long-term. Actually, that was another question here. Is there any chance you end up staying in Southern California and buying a house here? At this moment, no, because all of the houses that would fit our growing family are listed at like $1 million plus, and those mortgages are at least $5,000 a month or more. Our current rental is already really expensive at $4,200 a month. So if anything, if we stay in LA, we would have to continue to rent, which is not a bad thing. However, we're kind of limited, right? Like, we can't really make this house a home in the way that we want to. We can't change anything. We can't remodel anything. And then also I think about the financial freedom aspect of it too. We won't be able to obtain financial freedom early or like hit financial independence early if we stay here, because all of that money is going to be drained on rent and childcare expenses, at least for the next 5 years. Next question. Pay off debt or save for a house down payment? You could do both simultaneously, but make sure that the debt gets the priority of your extra income. And what I mean by that is, you would make a $500 extra payment towards debt that month, and then maybe you would set aside $250 towards the down payment. Paying off the debt quickly and as fast as possible is going to free up a lot of cash for you to put even more towards the down payment. That's definitely been true for me. When I really focused those 2.5 years to pay off the debt, it freed up so much money for me to put towards bigger savings goals like a car and a down payment. Okay, how do I roll over an old retirement account to a Roth IRA? Where do I start? You definitely want to check out Capitalize. I will link to them in the description box below. Capitalize helps you roll over existing 401ks into IRAs of your choosing. They have a whole platform. They have a team that can help you locate what forms that you need to complete in order to get it done fast. Otherwise, you could do it on your own. And how I would do it is I would open up the IRA first, then go back to the 401k, request a transfer forms, and then you'll have to get some signatures and whatnot. It's a little bit time consuming, but it is doable. That's why I really like the fintech company Capitalize that is around and starting to help people manage these 401ks with so much more ease and flexibility. We did a campaign, I think a year and a half ago, but Capitalize, come on, sponsor me again. That was so fun. I love telling people about you. All right, let's go on to the next question. How much to put in a 403B? 32 years old, no retirement savings, baby on the way. Congrats on the baby. I would ask your employer what their match is, figure out what they're matching in that 403B, and then contribute up to the match, then stop, and then really focus on putting all of that money towards your baby fund. So baby fund, I'm assuming this is your first, so you'll need things like a car seat, a stroller, a crib, or a bassinet. Any of those baby supplies that are bigger ticket purchase items, you'll want to save up for. If your employer does not match, I would start small and then work your way up over time. Anytime you get a promotion or a raise, increase the percentage going into the 403B. Now, you did say that you're 32 years old, and so I'm sure you're feeling like, I'd have like 10 years that I could have been putting towards the retirement, and now where do I start? So maybe it is you start with 5% and then you start increasing it each percentage point annually until you really start working on maxing that out. Don't work on maxing out the retirement contribution until you have some of those other foundational steps completed. You're budgeting every single month. You have your emergency fund in place. You have all of your debt paid off. But while you're working on those things, you can absolutely start small with like a 5% contribution. Go back, work those foundational steps. After those are complete, then you can really work on maxing out your contribution. This next person asks, LA SoCal is on my bucket list. Yes. Will you make a tourist video sometime for visitors hoping for 2024? I would love to do that. I will definitely put that on my list of things. I will say, being in SoCal, LA, San Diego, as like somebody who lives here versus a tourist is kind of interesting, because as somebody who lives here, you kind of stay in your bubble, mainly because of traffic. It makes it so difficult to really think about going to like Hollywood for the day or Beverly Hills for the day when I know traffic is just going to be such a nightmare to get over there. So I really just think about like, okay, what are like the 10 miles surrounding like radius that I can go to? But yeah, that would be really, really fun. I'll think about that as a way to like capture B-roll when I'm out and about, because Kyle and I have an LA bucket list budget inside of our budget so that we can go out and do fun things, try new things around the city. There's a lot of LA questions actually. Tips for financially surviving LA. I'm moving there soon. Congrats on the move. I think the biggest thing to think about when you're moving to LA is that rent is going to be your highest expense. Location is everything when it comes to this city. If you're going to be living out in East LA, like literally in the desert, like Inland Valley area, just know that the chances of you going to the beach consistently are very slim due to traffic and just getting out there. It's gonna be like a whole day trip for you to go to the beach if you're living in East LA. So just think about that. If like the beach vibe is what you're really going for, you need to stick closer to make sure like it's no more than a 20-minute commute to get to the beach. Otherwise, you'll just never go. So rent is the biggest thing, location is the biggest thing, and then don't forget LA is actually really great for a lot of fun and free activities because the weather is just so good year round. So the beach is one thing. Hiking, there's so many hiking trails and parks and outdoor areas that you can take advantage of. And depending on what city that you end up moving to, hop on the city's newsletter, their email listserv. And my city does a really good job of emailing us out about fun and free activities that are happening within the community. Like they did a whole concert in the park series over the summer, and they were free summer concerts that we could do out in the park, which was awesome. It was a great way to like get out and enjoy the city, do something fun, and experience a little bit of LA. This next person asks, is it worthwhile to get a financial manager for expenses, debt, savings? When you say financial manager, my brain goes into two different modes. Financial advisor or a certified financial planner would not be worthwhile for expenses, debt, and savings because they're really focused on the investing and long-term piece of your money. Now, if you're talking about a financial coach or a money coach, somebody like myself, yes, I could absolutely help you with that. And there are tons of personal finance coaches out there. You really just have to pick one that you vibe with. But in terms of making goals for your budget, for your debt, for your savings, for your long-term planning, short and mid-term savings goals, the investing piece definitely is something that I've discussed a ton with my clients on. I think it's worthwhile. You got to think of it this way. Actually, one of my newest clients who signed up with me to work with me, she said it this way. She's like, well, if I want to become physically fit, I'd hire a personal trainer to help me with that. I would definitely hire somebody to help me with my fitness levels to help me stay accountable. And it's the same thing with my money. I was like, yes, you get it. So if you feel like this is a problem area for you and you can't seem to hold yourself accountable or you keep getting stuck in that cycle, definitely finding a money coach or a financial coach is the perfect place to start. Okay, this question is kind of interesting. Is Ally or SoFi a good thing to put money into, and why? It's all confusing. Well, it's confusing if you're looking at it from like an apples to oranges thing, if you're not looking at what their core offerings are for like banking or investing. So both Ally and SoFi have an investing component and a banking component. With Ally Bank, you can open up that high yield savings account that I talked about earlier with a 4.25% interest. You can also invest through them as the investing platform and purchase funds. Same thing goes with SoFi. Here's what I'm gonna say about SoFi, is that SoFi got under hot water because they were filing lawsuits to basically reduce the amount of time that student loan forgiveness and the forbearance was in play. They wanted to go ahead and remove that because they were doing student loan consolidations and refinancing, and they wanted to get their borrowers to pay up and also have that a resource. A lot of people did not refinance their student loans during the forbearance because there was no need to. They weren't required to make payments. There was no interest rate accruing. And so companies that were in the refinancing business, like SoFi, were kind of getting burned by it. And so they wanted to like lower and just basically say, okay, we're done with this. Like, let's get people back on the payment system. And for that, that's like a hard pass for me because it's really putting profits over people, and I'm not here for it. SoFi is a personal finance company. I've written for them in the past, and then when I heard about this lawsuit and this action taking place, I was very unhappy. And ethically speaking, like, my work ethic does not align with something like a SoFi. So sorry, SoFi, we're not going to be working together because of that very issue. So in addition to your money questions, I wanted to give you an update because I've kind of been just dark on the channel for a few weeks, and now I'm coming back. And I know I've alluded to in a couple other videos of just working on some things in the background for my business. So I want to share that with you and tell you what's been going on this past year. This past year, I hired a brand strategist to help me get really clear on my voice, vision, and message for debt-free millennials, and not think about just this year, but what is the impact and the legacy that I want for this brand beyond, like, how do I want this business to grow long term? And so I got really clear on that, like February, March, April, May. After that, I ended up hiring a corporate and public speaking coach because I really saw a personal finance workshop in the corporate space as a vision, as part of my brand, that I could go into corporations and talk about why personal finance should be a conversation that we have in the workplace. So that's also been something that I've been working on with my coach. She has been amazing for me in that mentorship and just helping me get more comfortable speaking in front of a live audience instead of in front of the camera. So that's been a lot of fun. The third component is I hired a business coach this summer who is helping me take that vision and that corporate offer along with some other offers that I have and really scale it up, because I was feeling really stuck and stagnant with my business revenue for like the past 3 years. And I know the past 3 years, there's also been a pandemic. I got pregnant and had a baby, and now I'm dealing and just navigating motherhood and also building a business. There are unique challenges that female entrepreneurs go through who also have young children. There's a lot of responsibility to not only pull your weight financially, but also pull your weight as a parent, and kind of feeling torn between the two, and also thinking to myself, why can't I have both? So the business coach that I hired has really helped me realize that I can have both, because I've seen her do it. She has 2 kids and she's run a very successful business. I'm like, that is what I want. So I'm really just studying underneath her. And also the major reason why I went dark on YouTube is because I had to go all in on my one thing, which was my coaching program. So if you've heard me talk about Budget Bootcamp, that's my one-on-one monthly coaching program where we meet over Zoom, talk about your finances. So I have officially canceled Budget Bootcamp. Budget Bootcamp has since been retired. You can no longer access it. Instead, I have replaced it with the Debt-Free Millennials one-on-one coaching program. So it has been truly a work of love and heart, and I've totally revamped the Budget Bootcamp into this new, really exciting, robust offer of a blend of live coaching and a video curriculum component with a lot of written exercises to really think about your relationship with money, as well as the tactical strategies of this is how you budget correctly, this is how you create your debt-free plan, this is how you create your savings goals. All of those things are a part of this program. I was filming so much content for the coaching program and also trying to film for YouTube. It was like, I gotta pick one and I really need to launch this thing. So I'm going all in with my coaching program curriculum. So the curriculum videos are officially done, which is amazing. I actually have my first full cohort of clients. I am completely at capacity. I'm only taking 8 clients on at a time. And so we're going to see how this first cohort does with that round of 8 clients that I'm managing. And then I'm opening up the second cohort for January 2024. And I already have 3 spots reserved for that. So 3 people have already put down a deposit for that spot, which means I only have 5 more spots for January, which is amazing. So all this to say, the coaching program is definitely a big arm of my business, and one that I ignored for a long time. I love doing the one-on-one work, but I felt like something was missing there, and I was starting to resent it because it just wasn't clicking. And I love all of my clients. There was also a handful of clients that just simply didn't show up for the calls. I have no idea why. I would reach out and it just wasn't vibing. Now that I have the flow of this program, it is like amazing. I have just the best clients in the world who are super committed to up-leveling their finances and achieving financial confidence. So that's the biggest reason why I went dark and why I'm now back, because the filming of those videos is done, and now I really get to just dial in that work and give them my like 200% coaching effort. This is how I'm going to guide you to this place of confidence, and it's going to be so amazing. And another thing that I wanted to mention, I know, like, I feel like I'm looking at the timer to make sure that I don't run out of time on my SD card. Because I did the branding visionary work in the beginning of this year, I actually hired that same brand strategist to redo my website and my branding. So that is going to be rolling out later this month, I hope. You'll click on the link and then you'll see whether or not it's updated. But I am so stoked for this refresh. I did a whole bunch of new brand photography. I'll put some photos up here on screens for you to see. And I like that vision, just everything that I've been thinking about in my mind in terms of what I'm offering, where I'm taking the brand visually, the new logo, the new color palette, the new photos is just like bringing my brand to a whole new level. And I really hope that you're excited about this just as much as I am, and to see what kind of new things are going to be presented to you, and also the new things that I'm going to be talking about and working on. So many fun, amazing projects. So I think that's all professionally. Personally, Kyle and I are coming up on a year of living in LA. Our lease is not up until March of 2024, and then we're gonna have to figure out what we're doing if we're ultimately on that path to move to Colorado, which is still definitely on my mind, or what? Like, what are we doing? So I wanna figure that out, because as I was talking about before, if we're talking about expanding our family, I really just feel like doing it here is not the right thing. I kind of want to be set up in Colorado. So we'll see. It's just this big thing that just kind of keeps playing in my head. So I'm trying to just be present, live in the moment, be here in LA, enjoy LA, because we do enjoy it so much. And then when the opportunity presents itself, like, I'm not gonna force it. And if it all aligns, it aligns, and we're gonna make it happen. Okay, I've been rambling on for the longest time, so I'm gonna stop this video here and say thank you so much for joining me for this impromptu money and coffee chat. If you like these types of videos, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Remember, I'm still committed to my goal of 100,000 subscribers plus. Let me check my dashboard and see where I'm at. As of right now, I'm just shy of 75,000 subscribers, so we're 75% of the way there, guys. So if you're not part of the Debt-Free Millennials family, click that red subscribe button, join us, and commit yourself to crushing debt and achieving financial confidence that leads to more fun and less payments, and I'll catch you in the next one.